afternoon and welcome once again to the Mayor's weekly press conference. It's February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. What is not to like about today? Except maybe the weather. It's a little rainy out there. It's rain all day. The high is 54. Tomorrow, Thursday, the 15th, thunderstorms. So brace yourselves. Thunderstorms, it doesn't say AM or PM, so just expect thunderstorms throughout the day. 66 is the high, low of 48. Into Friday, rain, a high of 53, a low of 23. So it's going to dip down. And into Saturday, we're looking at a high of 42 and a low of 28 with PM rain. Sunday will dry out a little bit. Looks like it's going to be mostly sunny. A high of 47 and a low of 35. And then into the rest of the week, Monday, it looks like all the way through Saturday into Friday anyway, of showers, rain showers throughout the week. So anyway, keep that in mind. And with all the rain that's coming down, there is a weather advisory in that there's a flood watch. That flood watch is from 7 p.m. this evening, and it will be running through Friday. So low-lying areas, just be cognizant of water. If you see standing water, turn around, don't drown. I love that moniker, so just keep that in mind. Don't try to forge across something that you have no idea how deep it is, because it doesn't take a whole lot of moving water to move a vehicle, let alone a person. Engineering and Public Works, a number of things that are going on around the city. East Union lane closures. City of Athens is going to be completing repairs on East Union between South College Street and University Terrace beginning Monday, February 19th. That'll be rolling through Friday, the 23rd. So just keep that in mind that there is going to be some lane closure during the repair period. The eastbound lane of East Union Street will be closed to all traffic. The westbound will be closed to traffic between, looks like 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily until the repairs are complete. Westbound lanes are open to all traffic after 3 p.m. So, got that going on. I mentioned this at my last press conference, so I'm going to repeat it again and likely to bring it up at council on Monday, but that is that on February 20th, which is a Tuesday, between 3:30 and 6 p.m., there is a public forum in the atrium of Grover Center on OU campus. And I'm looking real quick for the address. Yeah, it's 53 Richland Avenue. So right in the Porter Hall, Grover Center, Baker Center kind of trio, that Grover Center is right there. This is going to be for the Richland Pedestrian Passageway Project, what we're affectionately referring to as RP3, to have this open forum, open house, to talk about the designs of this pedestrian safety feature that we're looking at putting in down there. We are in the design phase, so it'll be working with or listening to Burgess and Nyepel, which is the design firm on this project. So everybody in the public or at Ohio University will be able to engage with Burgess and Nyepel and kind of talk through what is the plan for this project. So I want to get that out there one more time. It's going to be in the atrium of Grover Center, 53 Richland Avenue. It's 3:30 to 6 p.m. on February 20th, so next Tuesday. Other things going on in the city. The US 33 East State Street construction update on that. Freedom Construction will be the general contractor on this project. This project will be essentially from East Park Drive all the way on out to Lowe's for a new sidewalk. The whole project unto itself is 2.96 miles of East State Street repairs. As you get further out towards Cook Drive, we're going to be doing a lot of the concrete joint repairs taking place out there. But when you get in the area of Lowe's, all the way on down, I believe, to Home, which is on the west side of 33, the 33 underpass. Home is the street where you can get to Bob Evans or to the public library. There will be some work as far west as that location. Some of the preliminary activities is going to be pothole patching and repair. In February, that is going to be starting shortly to where we really get in and start filling some of the potholes. I know that kind of sounds like a little bit contradictory towards the overall plan, but we've got to get a lot of those potholes filled down there just for safe traffic flow through that area. But that's going to be happening in February. That activity is weather dependent, but for the mobilization of Freedom Construction, they're going to start early March. Start work with foundation, lighting, sidewalk work can begin. Some of the joint repairs that I just mentioned on East State Street as you get out from Cook Drive to the East State Street access road. A lot of that will start is in April as well, or continue into April. Some of the traffic impacts may be single lane closures. Access to side streets and businesses will be maintained during the phase 1. Phase 2, signalization and light work continues. The contractor will be closing the US 33 westbound off-ramp and the US 33 westbound on-ramp near Applebee's for about 45 days. So keep that in mind. We will make sure we've got that signaled and information, the variable message boards, signs go up in that area so people know. A lot of that work with the actual on-ramps and off-ramps, we're looking at June into early July that'll be taking place. There will be traffic detours that we're posting throughout the city, and so that we keep everyone up to date on what's going on. Then phase 3, continued signalization, light work will be completed. Work on the US 33 eastbound off-ramp will be completed. There will be some truck detouring in that area. And the contractor will complete their work on the Home Street and Utah Place medians, the median work that we're going to see in that area. A lot of the milling and resurfacing of Home Street and Utah should be completed in the fall. Currently scheduled into September for those two streets, with the permanent markings being installed during that time as well. I've mentioned this at my last press conference, and as a lot of you may be aware who are watching today, we did put this out to bid in 2017, but unfortunately, the bid that we did receive was in excess of what is allowable for the city, which is 10% above the contractor's estimated bid, and therefore we had to put it back out to bid right away, but we had to change it to where it was a 2018 construction date as opposed to what we were hoping for, which was a 2017. So please bear with us as we go through our pothole season. I know that our street crews are out there as we speak, filling potholes all throughout the city, concentrating on the more heavy trafficked areas, but being cognizant that there's a lot of tertiary streets that also have significant potholes and that they will be filled as well. So just to get that out there for everyone to understand. And I think now's a good time too to mention that, you know, potholes, when you get into this season, and in particular, we had a harsh winter season this year to where we had a lot of sub-20s days, and in some cases, single-digit days. When you start getting into that, and then if there's any warming trend whatsoever to where moisture is seeping into patches that had been made, and then it freezes again, once that happens, it starts to pop a lot of the patches out. Because of the heaving of the ice. As the ice is expanding, it pops these up. But just know that, again, our road crews are out there, getting as many of these potholes filled in a timely way, as timely as possible. The other EPW, Engineering and Public Works project that is underway is the Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project. Again, our water treatment plant. Kirk Brothers is on that job as the contractor. This is going to be, again, significant improvements to Plant 1 as well as the overall plant. Plant 1 was constructed in the late 50s and has had modifications since, but this is a good project moving forward to where we're going to be doing a lot of the electrical feeds coming into the building. We're going to be doing some roof repairs. We're also putting solar panels down there at the water treatment plant. So installation is planned for this Tuesday and Thursday of next week, Tuesday through Friday of next week, where there's going to finally make some improvements down at the water treatment plant, which is out there on West State Street, off of West State Street. Happenings around Arts, Parks, and Rec World. Arts West, Saturday, February 17th, and Sunday, the 18th, the Emergence, a sacred feminine dance once more. This is performed performance by rock band Amethstone with Calliope Feminist Choir. Dancer Missy Whaley performing. It's at 7 p.m. on Saturday and 2 p.m. on Sunday at Arts West. That's at 132 West State Street here in the city. Tickets, it's a sliding scale. Suggested price is between $5 and $25 suggested. The suggested ticket price is $15 for anyone who comes in, but there is a sliding scale. A couple other things. The comprehensive plan visioning statement, again, to get this out one more time, the vision statement as we look to what we want to be in 2040 is that Athens is a forward-thinking and diverse community that celebrates its eclectic college town roots while growing sustainably. I mentioned this last week, some of the guiding principles for the vision. We strive to be for a sustainable future, which includes renewable energy, a healthy environment, and opportunities to connect with nature, that we are an inclusive community with all, regardless of race, creed, color, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, national origin, ancestry, marital or familial status, religious belief, age, disability, or economic status, as all communities should be. But again, and there's lots of other guiding principles. Those are just two that I pulled out at random. So if you have any questions about the Athens Comprehensive Plan, or you want to be involved and be engaged, I encourage you to reach out to Paul Logue, the city planner. You can contact him at 592-3338, or you can email Paul at plogue, L-O-G-U-E, at ci.athens.oh.us. The 2017 Athens Fire Department Annual Report is out now and available for anyone who's interested. You can come to the city building and get that. It's also available on the website, which is www.ci.athens.oh.us. I would encourage people to look at that. It has all kinds of information from 2017. And one of the things that we're really starting to drill into are things like the number of false alarms that we're seeing, to where we've had a large uptick in false alarm runs. And not all of them are malicious false alarms, but there are false alarms all the same where the fire department is responding. But there's lots of other interesting information within that report. The last thing that I have today before I turn things over to the press that's here with me today is, once again, I mentioned this last week, and that is the City of Athens is asking our residents to sign up to receive local alerts on Nixle, N-I-X-L-E. Pretty simple to do. You can text 45701 to 888-777 on your mobile phone. Or you can go to the city's website, www.ci.athens.oh.us/notify, and sign up for Nixle. I really encourage anyone to do this. There are lots of different alerting systems that people can tune into within the city of Athens and beyond. But within the city, we're really, really encouraging people to use Nixle. That way we have kind of a single source for getting information. As a matter of fact, the flood warning or flood watch that I just mentioned at the onset of today's program, you can easily be notified with things like that, whether it's a high water event, an ice event, a snow event, tornado event, anything along those lines, another derecho, by using that Nixle app. So use it. I can't stress that enough as a single source. And then usually we push that things out as best we can on the city's website when there are various things going on in the community. That's all I have for my programmed information. I do have a couple of individuals here from the media, and since you guys are on air with me, if you would state who you are and what news source you represent, and fire away.
All right, well, I'm Ben Schwartz here from Newswatch at Noon. It's a class at OU with, we have Monday through Thursday a news show going on at noon. So I was wondering, we've been hearing recently that President Trump and his administration have been talking about taking away and replacing the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or like SNAP, that a lot of grocery stores and places like that around here support, and I'm sure a number of community members rely on it too. I was just wondering if you thought that would have a good impact or a negative impact on the community, and if you notice a decent amount of people being in need of those.
I think it would be a disaster, quite honestly. I mean, to remove SNAP from what is available to individuals, and knowing how hard our community, as well as Ohio University, has worked to make sure that SNAP programming can be used on campus. As I understand it, the Jefferson Market allows for SNAP to be used there. Farmers Market allows for it to be is it an accepted currency there. And so here's the thing that troubles me about this is it's taken a while, and this isn't a bad thing, it's just how things go, to where healthy food choices now are easier to access using SNAP for those who use it, and now you're going to pull it away. To what end? There's a lot going on up in Capitol Hill that always causes me to pause and kind of ponder over the impacts that can have, especially in what we are. And we're a distressed community. We're a distressed county. For a short while there, we were a high risk or at risk community when it comes to poverty. And in 2018, we went back on to the distressed county ranks, and a lot of that has to do with household income and those who are living below poverty level. And so the percent at which you are below poverty level, national poverty levels, and SNAP is one of those features that a lot of people, their daily lives depend on that to support their families, to make sure that they have the nutrition at the table to where they can just sustain themselves. So.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mayor Patterson. I appreciate the answer.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the question.
Did you have any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, I have a few.
I know you do.
I sent them to you earlier. So.
You did. I perused through them, so anything that I don't have a firm answer for, I will get that for you, but
Excellent.
Fire away.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm Samantha Taylor. I work for the Athens Messenger. My first question, I guess, kind of to approach the subject, Council talked about the Stimson Avenue project that we would be seeing, I think, in the next 2 years. Can you give us a little background on that first? Because I know it has to do with the comprehensive plan, but I'm a little unsure of it. So.
No, sure. Stimson Avenue is one of the gateways into the city, and historically it has been a gateway into the city. It is an area that we have identified under the comprehensive plan, the current comprehensive plan, and even as we look forward with the new comprehensive plan. Stimson Avenue is still on the radar. We did apply for what's called the Small Cities Grant for Stimson Avenue, which is an Ohio Department of Transportation grant. We were unsuccessful on the first 2 rounds, and the third time's a charm, right? So we finally received it. The grant is a little more than $2 million for the Stimson Avenue improvements. And what we want to do is redo the streetscape and the appearance of Stimson Avenue from the new roundabout all the way on up to East State Street. It'll be a big project. Among other things, a lot of the signalization through that area. We are exploring the possibility of possibly being able to get some of the power lines, electric transmission underground in that area. But there will be a lot of other features that take place because it's an old corridor. It's also a really narrow public right-of-way through there, because especially when you get down closer to the roundabout itself. Mm-hmm. And so we will end up having to do a lot of work with the property owners and a lot of work in general in that area. So it'll be a big project. I believe that we will start obviously design first and start exploring that. I know that our current Director of Engineering and Public Works, Andy Stone, his Assistant Director, Jessica Dine, will be working on that project. City Planner Paul Logue will be involved as well as we start going through and looking at the design along with the design firm as we move forward with that project.
Okay. And are you currently looking for a design firm? I think someone mentioned that you are accepting bids right now, or you will be?
Will be.
Okay. Is that what that February 23rd date, I think, was? Okay.
Right.
That was mentioned? Okay.
Right. Letters of intent.
Okay. And how much is the total cost of the project going to be, or estimated to be?
You know, I don't have that information in front of me and off the top of my head in terms of what the overall project will cost, but I can certainly get that for you.
Okay. I think Councilman Mickey mentioned like a $4.55 million at the meeting, to my knowledge. I didn't know if that sounded right or if you were still unsure about that too.
I'm still unsure about that.
Okay.
As to whether that's
That's okay.
Whether it would in totality be, that level.
Okay. And could the city apply for more grants in the future for this?
For this project in particular, mm-hmm. we could possibly look into other granting mechanisms. I know, kind of jumping back to something I brought up in early on in this press conference, is that with the RP3, the Richland Pedestrian Passageway Project, we are looking at some other potential funding mechanisms for that project unto itself, because we did receive $1.8 million for that project, but the project, all told, will probably be closer to $2.5 million. So we are looking at potentially going after some Transportation Improvement District dollars, or maybe some other Ohio Department of Transportation possibilities for that particular project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned, I think at the council meeting, that you were asking for the authorization and appropriation for the design of Phase 1. Is that going to come, were you asking council for their permission, and will that come in the form of an ordinance?
It will.
Okay. Will it be at next week's?
Hopefully.
Okay. Okay. And then let me check here real quick. You covered a couple of my answers. So, and I think you also mentioned the cost of Phase 1 will be about $200,000?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And again, that's just the designing.
Right.
Figuring out how this is going to look, where utilities would be placed. Which is similar to what we did with the Stimson Avenue roundabout and now North 1804 Way, similar to East State Street improvements.
Aesthetically, I know this is all to be discussed, but are you trying to maybe match? Will there be any aesthetic additions, benches, park benches, kind of like how West Union looks? And I didn't know if you were trying to do something maybe a little similar, or maybe hopefully, I don't know.
Again, we'll have to see with the design how we could do that. If anyone traverses down Stimson Avenue, one of the things you'll see right away is the placement of utility poles in the sidewalks, which that is a challenge for individuals who may have mobility issues, mobility troubles of navigating through there. And so one of the things is, again, if we can get things underground or at least moved out of the way, it's freeing up those spaces and redoing sidewalks in that area. Again, right off the top of my head, whether we create something that looks like West Union, not likely to where it looks exactly like that. It's kind of unto itself. It's kind of what we envision the uptown area looking like. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, there will be some beautification to Stimson Avenue. Again, we're also going to be exploring active transportation to where it's multimodal through that area. But again, it's a real tight public right-of-way through that area, so we'll have to be really creative in how we make this work.
Okay, and would that include possibly a bike lane on Stimson?
Possibly.
Okay.
Again, just trying to figure out how to squeeze things in without over impacting an area.
Of course. Okay. And I think that covers my questions for Stimson. I just had a few about the body cameras.
Sure. Let's talk body cameras.
So I was wondering when the city's current contract with Exxon, the TASER contract would expire? Because I know you were talking about rolling that into a camera thing eventually.
Right. Axum, they produce tasers as well. And so when Chief Pyle was exploring the Axon body-worn cameras, is that, is there a deal to or a way to kind of package things? And there is, except that we currently are under contract. It's a 3-year contract with Axon for our tasers, the ones that the police officers use. So at this point, if we were to move forward with the body-worn cameras, that we wouldn't be able to do anything with their TASER program, bundling that with the body-worn cameras, or what we're referring to as BWCs, as we move forward. But once that contract that we're currently under, and I don't know how far into that contract we are, whether we're a year in or whether we just, the chief just entered into it, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But let's say that we're a year in, so 2 years from now, we could then negotiate that into a BWC program that we're in with them already.
Okay. And I know you were talking about some concerns that you previously had about body cameras that after learning about Axon's systems now, those concerns maybe have subsided a bit. I didn't know if you recall that, and like what some of those concerns were and how they were addressed, maybe.
Well, one of the big concerns that the chief had, and I concur with those concerns, was, and this was going back a year and a half ago, and we all know how quickly technology changes. It's changing faster than I drive, I think, so half the time. Anyway, when we first started exploring this, and the chief was reaching out to other chiefs, his colleagues across the state, and their experiences or the information that they had been gathering as he was doing his homework, that the systems at the time could have impacted the amount of time, or affected the amount of time that our police officers were out patrolling versus the time it would take for them to, come off shift, download, stream that data into some docking station and onto a storage device of some type, and then to take that data once it's been downloaded and to add any metadata that you have to, locations, time, whatever, and do any level of enhancing the data that was downloaded with the metadata. That it was adding time to the shifts, and taking time off of what could otherwise be patrolling. With the information we've gotten from Axon at this point is that with things being cloud-based, the streaming is faster, the amount of time it would take to download it, the tagging with metadata is streamlined. So there was a lot of things to where at this point, it's a much better system. I mentioned this at council as well, and that is that I went to a safety conference up in Columbus back last fall, and it was really interesting because that was when we were really tracking how much time it was going to take to use body-worn cameras as they existed to download things. But there was an individual there who was talking about a system that now Axon kind of provides. And so there's been changes. And so with that and with their program, again, we're exploring it. It still comes down to cost and looking at our budget and the way our budget has been impacted over the past couple of years, is trying to figure out, where that money would come from, if that money's there. But we believe we can make this work, to where all told over 5 years, in looking at the Axon plan, it would be over $105,000, I think, for that period of time. But the bigger cost of about $32,000 comes up front in the first year. And then annually after that, it's about $18,000 over the course of the next 4 years. So we're certainly looking at this system in earnest.
Okay. And on Mondays during council, during the committee meetings on Monday, was it just kind of discussion about it, or will there be an ordinance maybe put forth here soon, or is more discussion to come still?
As soon as we figure out where the money can come from, then there'll be an ordinance that goes through, and it'll spell out what fund line that money is coming from, and just making sure that it's not only, like I said, the $30,000+ on the onset, but now annually having to make sure that we've got the $18,000 moving forward so that we can have the body-worn cameras. Chief Pyle is very much in favor of having body-worn cameras and has been. And so it's just making sure, one, we do it right, and two, that we've got the resources, financial resources to make this happen.
Okay. And I did remember just one last question.
You got
it goes back to the Stimson thing.
Sure.
The $200,000. What line of funding is that coming from?
You did ask me that.
I wasn't sure.
Street rehab.
Street rehab
is what 572 is. That fund line is street rehabilitation.
Okay. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Samantha. And let me make sure I've got all my things squared away. Yeah, thanks again, Samantha. Thank you, Ben, for coming today. I really appreciate both of you coming with your wonderful questions. And for anyone who's tuned in today, I thank you for tuning in. Stay dry. It's going to be a wet one for a while. And again, if you encounter anywhere throughout the county, any low-lying areas, standing water on the roadways, I really advise you don't try to forge through it. As well as you may know that area, I would encourage you to find a higher ground way to get around the low-lying water. And again, have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. And hopefully you'll tune in again next Wednesday for Mayor's Weekly Press Conference. Take care.